In our first reading, we have the story of Ahab, the king of Samaria, and Elijah. And if you're not familiar with the story that was in the first readings yesterday, or the story of this king, Ahab told his neighbor Naboth to give him his garden, and he would buy him a better one. And Naboth said no, because it was his ancestral heritage. He probably had a lot of memories tied to the place and this garden that he owned. And then Ahab allowed his wife to make false accusations that Naboth cursed God and king, nor that he may be taken out of the city and stoned. And all of these things took place. So Elijah comes along, and Ahab said, "Have you found me out, my enemy?" "Yes," he answered, "because you have given yourself up to doing evil in the Lord's sight, and I am bringing evil upon you." In other words, the prophet is reminding him that no unjust deed goes unpunished, for we live in God's world, not ours. In response to this, Ahab reasonably understands, and he responds to the prophetic voice who stands in the place of God. And in the typical way of repenting in biblical times, he tore his garment and he put on sackcloth over his bare flesh. He fasted, actually slept in the sackcloth, and went about subdued. And all of these things are signs of Ahab's humility, as he realizes he's under God's divine dominion in this world. In one respect, by God's grace, he begins to philosophize. He steps back from the flow of life, and through the prophetic utterance directed toward him, he swings his whole way of thinking to a position that is figuratively above himself. He sees his offense in real time, as if the past was made present in his mind, and he reckons with the evil he has done. He repents and accepts God's justice, which is part of the forgiving process. For in one sense, God purges evil out of our hearts to truly change us, to actually make us holy. This is how sin is wiped away, by God convicting us and purging us to help us to never return to that sin again, through a process of being purified by God's divine love, his divine fire, to ultimately save us from eternal ruin.